we are bewitched and sucked in, obsessed and entrapped by experience itself, by the lure of the outer world. Ignorantly, in many ways, naively, let's say, hoping that the outer world will satisfy the itch, the inner itch. So we seek our salvation in money, power, love, and things, acquisition, safety, security. All of these are kind of understandable on the human path, given how fragile we really are and the history we come from as primitive creatures, if indeed we do come from our primitive past, steeped in survivalism. And yet, the outer world doesn't satisfy what the inner world longs for. So we have a problem. Because in many ways, apart from religion, maybe the contemplative life, we've got no structure, got no invitation, got no cauldron, got no context for what it means to turn attention towards the inner life. Of course we do. We have the monasteries, we have some orders, religious, spiritual orders, monastic places. That serve some of that function. In America, you know, there's a history of the trapper, or the one who seeks their solitariness by leaving the city, leaving the towns, and going and finding themselves in the mountain, in the cabin. Some of that is beautiful and noble, and America has a history of some of that, as it's not the only country that does. But all of this points to the fact that at a certain point the realization comes that the outer world won't satisfy what the inner world longs for. It's a soul yearning, a spirit yearning, a deep yearning within us that says it's time to go inwards and downwards, inwards into our own experience, to find out who we really are, to become intimate, maturely intimate with our own experience, with ourself, with our experience of what it is to be alive, to find out, to clear up the detritus, to clear up the erroneous thinking, to clear up the old toxic emotions, to clear ourselves up. As we go through life, this calling becomes greater and greater. At least for many. Most turn away from it and then get trapped in the futility of the search outwards, but unable to turn their attention inwards because it's too painful. And so they're caught in a kind of limbo world that can create bitterness or cynicism or depression, or else consolidate addictions and the turning away from, but not the turning towards. And between these two things, do people suffer? And so the invitation really is that life calls us inwards And we have to honour that for maturity over the lifetime to happen. It pulls at us. It reminds us. Who are you? Who are you? What is this? What is this life? What have you made of this life? Not on the external plane. Doesn't matter. On the internal. Have you reconciled what it is to be human? Have you found the light within? Have you found some surrender? Have you found some grace? Have you opened yourself to some extent to find what it is to be a spiritually awake, autonomous being? Are you trapped on the surface, unable to get in? Why is that? What is that that's blocking you from getting in, from going inwards? Because life calls us. It begs us. Our own being begs us to say, please, come on. There's such a beauty in that. You don't have to turn away from the world completely. It's almost impossible to turn away from the world completely. You know, most of us are stuck in these Western cultures. Where are we going to go? And the idea of going to the Himalayas and finding a cave or an ashram or stuff is nonsense. It just doesn't happen. So we have to do the work in the midst of the societies that we're in. And then by and by, that light that we find, or the depth that we inhabit, we spread and emanate to other people. So by and by, society maybe becomes less superficial and more deep, instead of becoming more superficial and less deep. Things change. Things change in society. Things change everywhere. It's time. The time is now for each of us to turn inwards a little bit more. We have to keep on going in the world. The world is not in opposition to our opening. It's the invitation to our opening. And we have the capacity to accept the invitation